Good afternoon, everyone. Aron here from the Worley Bugger Fly Company, bringing you your weekly Yakima River fly fishing report. Obviously, well into our fall fishing now. Temperature's starting to cool down. Finally got a day that was below 70. River's still warmer than normal, not dangerously warm, but warmer than normal. So some of those fall bugs, like the blue wings, have not been super active, but starting. Crane flies, a lot of them around, a lot of short wings, and a pretty good handful of October caddis. So heading the right direction at least. Dry dropper fishing fantastic. Nymphing good as well. River is extremely low. Extremely low. So if you're floating, be very, very careful. If you're a wade fisherman, it's wade fisherman's paradise currently.
Good morning, everybody. Steve here from the Worley Bugger. It is September 27th. Wow, where did that month go? Just heard from head guide Aron Larsen, and I am now standing at the lower bridge at Rinehart Park. You can see the river is, I don't know if I would say historically low, but in my 30 years of here working on the river, never ever, not even in our drought years, I've seen the river this low. So the reservoir right now, keep in mind there's 4 reservoirs. Everybody drives by the one on coming over to fish, drives by Catchless. That's actually the smallest reservoir. That one's super, super low too. But the largest reservoir that actually feeds the most of the river, the Cle Elum River, yesterday was at 4%. Might be holding that today. It's going to continue to drop. So river just extremely low. You know, typically in the fall we see river flows at around 1,200 cubic feet in the farmlands. It can vary a couple of hundred here or there, but this today is like below 300. So what I've been telling folks, it's been a couple of weeks since we did our report. We've been on the river every single day. This has really been my first day off. Aron's as well. Of course, he's working today. I'm not working. But what I've been telling folks is the Yakima, most of the year, our fish swim in excessive water. They swim in water flows of, typically around 5,000 cubic feet, sometimes in the spring even more. And then during the summer, the river can range anywhere from 4,000 to, we've seen it the past few summers about 6,500. So our fish swim in this great big heavy flow, and now they're swimming in flow here in the farmlands that's less than 300 cubic feet. This is like lake water to them, right? So low, clear, you can see, we've had big bright light right on the water, so makes them, uniquely spooky, at times during the day. If you're coming to fish, hope for cloud cover. When the cloud cover's happening, man, the fish are on and eating strong. During the day, you get big bright light on the water. They're going to be spooky. And the demand for, for ultra drag-free drifts, is crucial. Very, very, very crucial. So just keep that in mind. Line control. I've been talking about that, our last couple of reports. You know, casting, you know, accuracy, that's fun. That's the fun part of fly fishing, you know, and we got some of the best fishing is coming up here, you know, over the next 5 or 6 weeks, you know, as soon as our mayflies start popping. We're starting to see a few, but our temperatures are still been very, very warm. It's just been recent days that that our water temperatures and our air temperatures are, you know, starting to drop. So the river needs to drop and in temperature, you know, until we start seeing really, really good blueing olive patches. But right now, October caddis are popping throughout the river, and that's going to continue, of course, you know, and get better and better through the month of October. I'd say we're pretty much on the tail end of our stonefly hatch. Seen a few yesterday, and the fish are still taking them, you know, on the surface in places. But, you know, over the next several weeks, it's really gonna become a big, big mayfly show. Okay. And one other thing that's happening, you know, through the farmlands. There's a stonefly that just hatched last night. But what I was gonna say is one thing that's happening through the farmlands, and especially in the upper river, is our salmon. So spring chinook are spawning. So be very, very careful if you're wade fishing. If you're in a boat dropping an anchor, don't drop the anchor on the reds. If you're wade fishing, don't walk through the reds and disturb them. You know, I was thinking back the other day, like 20 years ago or better. That's how old I am. We had a big meeting that was called by Fish and Game. And this is how long ago it was. It was at Reds. And the meeting was in the mobile home that they had at Reds. So that tells you how long ago it was. But it was called by Fish and Game, and it was a guide meeting, and there must have been 30 guides there. And there's still a few around that were, you know, still working the river here today. We've lost a few, and a few have just, you know, moved away. But it was a meeting about the introduction of salmon to the Yakima, and you know, what the future plan was, and how it was going to be implemented. It was very, very interesting, and it was interesting too, like how much backlash there was from guides. I mean, even me, I was even skeptical, because I mean, even you know, when I was younger, I never grew up around salmon, so I really didn't have much of a clue about it. But what salmon have done to revitalize the Yakima has been amazing. So the biomass, you hear me talk about it a lot. The biomass that's been injected into the river over those past, you know, 15, 20 years has been incredible. It's provided a, you know, a big, powerful punch of protein, you know, for fish with eggs, you know, and then the decaying salmon carcasses and with the flesh, and then the biomass that just goes into the river itself has just revitalized it, and it's intensified the bugs, you know, so it's just nurtured the river and really brought the river back. And now we have spring chinook, coho, and sockeye. So we have 3 species of salmon that are returning every year, and this year, as everybody probably knows, there's record numbers again of coho. So in October, you're gonna see a lot of coho in the upper river here on the Yakima. They're going to be very, very visible with this low water. So it's going to be fun to see that, you know, and experience it. And again, you know, don't disturb the spawning salmon. They've traveled a long ways and they're tired. They just want to propagate and move on to the next world. So, but as you can see, the fishing has been very, very good. It's not hard to see some of the bigger fish in the river if you really, really concentrate. I've been also telling people, like, the river is so low, you know, and the water temperatures are still, you know, still up. So the fish are not everywhere. They can't be, right? Like, look, there's just like no water left on the banks. So don't worry about fishing on the banks. The fish are really concentrated in pockets, you know, so if you get good dead drifts over them, I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. You might see an 8-inch fish and, you know, 3 casts later, you might be into the biggest fish that you've ever seen on the Yakima. Looking forward to the month of October. I haven't been around the fly shop a whole lot to give you a report on what the basin lakes are doing. But I would have to assume that the water temperatures there are still, you know, fairly warm as well from, you know, from the hot summer. Month of August and even parts of September were very, very warm. So, but that, you know, the fishing there should improve in all the basin lakes in October for sure. So those of you that like that type of fishing, I'm sure that will come on. A little breezy today. We've had some wind, but still good. Trees are starting to turn, but they're still holding on to those leaves just because it's been so warm. So lots of wind protection on the river. If you need anything, have any questions, of course, you can contact us at the Pro Shop. Until then, we'll see you on the next report.
If you would like to get out and do a trip on the Yakima River, probably want to think about that soon. Fairly busy, but we might be able to get you in. Hope everyone's having a fantastic week and hope to see you out here at Tight Lines.